Welcome to Breathe, Love, Parent, the Shine On podcast. I'm your host, Rach, yoga teacher, natural mama, and passionate guide in all things nervous system and connection. This is your space for honest conversations, emotional wellbeing tools, and mindful parenting insights. Whether you're in the thick of meltdowns or seeking a moment of calm, you belong here. Let's take a breath together and begin. Hello, lovely listeners, and welcome back to Breathe, Laugh, Parent, the Shine On podcast. I'm Rach, talking to you on Ngunnawal country, and today's episode is a gentle, practical one. We're talking about how to turn chaos into calm, not by controlling our children, not by forcing routines, but by creating mindful rituals that help regulate little nervous systems. And yes, we're going to be talking about colouring, but not just colouring as an activity, colouring as a ritual, colouring as connection, colouring as regulation. And I'll share exactly how I use the Shine On Mindful Colouring book with my daughters who are 3 and 1, especially during big emotions and busy days. Now, your copy won't have this across it. This is a not for resale. So this is just my copy to check it all looks good. So before we get into it, let's take a breath together before we begin. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. And let's soften into this conversation. So firstly, chaos is not a sign you're doing it wrong. If you have young children, you know what chaos feels like. It's the 4 p.m. unraveling, it's the bedtime resistance, it's the overstimulation, it's the sibling tension, it's the tired tears that come out sideways. And I want to start by saying this clearly. Chaos is not a parenting failure. It's often a nervous system overload. Young children live in their bodies. They feel before they think, they react before they can reason. So when things feel chaotic, the question isn't, how do I stop this? The question becomes, how do I help my child feel safe enough to soften? And that's where ritual comes in. So why routines regulate? Children thrive on predictability, not strictness, not rigidity, predictability. When a child knows what's coming next, their nervous system can settle. And one of the simplest tools I've used, especially with my girls, has been mindful colouring. Now, if you're picturing a perfectly still child sitting for 30 minutes, let's just adjust that expectation. That's not what this is about. So forget whatever Pinterest looks like or Instagram really looks like. No, let's talk real. It's about anchoring, okay? It's about creating a pattern in the day that signals we are moving from chaos into calm, or we're shifting out of A to B. So how I use the mindful colouring book with my girls. Now, I'm only going to share three fingers would help, 3 main moments we use it. So number 1, after big emotions. So if my eldest in particular has had a meltdown, especially around sharing, transitions or bedtime, I don't immediately move into problem solving. So once she has softened and is available for direct connection, I'll often say, let's sit and colour together. And actually, she says this more to me now than I have to say to her. So it's not a distraction. It's not as avoidance, but as a way to bring her body down. We sit either side by side or other times she's on my lap. Sometimes she colours, sometimes she scribbles, sometimes she just sits near me while I colour. And what matters is the proximity. We breathe. We slow down. I might gently narrate, I'm choosing blue, blue feels calm. And she doesn't always respond, but her body does. And that's the key. So within minutes, you can feel the shift. Her shoulders drop, her breath slows, her tone softens, and that's regulation. That's signs of her regulating again. So number 2, before transitions such as school time. So school can amplify everything, whether it's getting ready, getting out of the house, getting there, leaving there, all the things, right? And especially when there's a younger sibling involved who gets to stay home, that can be really confusing for little people. So sometimes before we even begin the routine, we'll sit at the table and just do one page, just one. It becomes a transition ritual. It says we're moving from busy to slow, or we're moving from here to there. And because it's consistent, her body now associates it with winding down its connection before the big separation. And it didn't happen overnight. It took about at least 12 months. 12 months ago, she wouldn't have stayed at the table. And, but through modeling, through consistency, through doing it together, me coloring calmly, me not correcting, me not rushing, it became something she stepped into naturally. And I just want to show you a page, right? It doesn't matter what it looks like. So this is one of our pages. It has an affirmation here. I am curious and eager to learn. And so you can see there's some sections she's colored in, some she's scribbled. It doesn't matter. It's the process of coloring. It doesn't matter what it looks like. So please, I almost beg you to just let that go, not worrying about what it looks like. It's about the act itself. And so now, so this lives on their little craft table that they have, and she'll often pull the book out herself. And that didn't come from forcing. It came from repetition and safety. So number 3 is when I need to regulate too. And trust me, this is important. Sometimes I use the coloring book because I need it. If I'm overstimulated, if I'm touched out, if I'm tired, or, I've had a long day, instead of reaching for my phone, I'll sit and color. And they join too. Even my little 1-year-old now is still doing it. In fact, she was coloring in a page yesterday. I'll just find it. But it's so simple, but so loving just to see her. She's learning how to use a texter. She's learning how to use crayons. Most of the time they're in her mouth. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I won't be able to find it in there. But she was sitting down while my eldest was at school and she was just colouring. So it can happen as early as 1, as soon as they can basically sit and hold a utensil. So what started as something for them has now become something for us. And it's a shared ritual. And here's the key. Children don't just learn regulation from what we teach. We can't just you can't just tell them and make them do something. They learn it from what we model. So if I model slowing down, if I model choosing calm, if I model breathing and staying, then they absorb that too. And this also, I just want to make a note here, because it lives on our table, they'll often colour with any of our guests. So if we have friends over or family, they will come and sit and colour too. So it's become this is a very collaborative book now. Very colourful, collaborative book. Look at it. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. So creative rituals are self-regulation tools. Creative rituals work because they engage the senses, slow the body, anchor attention, reduce stimulation, increase connection. And colouring is rhythmic, the movement of the hand, the choice of colour, the staying inside or outside the lines. It creates micro moments of focus, and focus is regulating. So it shifts the nervous system out of fight or flight into something steadier. But again, it's not about perfection. Sometimes my eldest colours one tiny corner and walks away. Sometimes she presses too hard. Sometimes she scribbles. Often my youngest is colouring herself, or particularly her mouth. That's fine. It's all good. The ritual is the medicine, not the outcome. So what this isn't about adding another task to your day. It isn't about being the Pinterest mum. It's not about quiet children. It's about building one small anchor in the storm, a 5-minute pocket, a consistent pattern, a shared breath. That's it. Okay, so turning chaos into calm. So if your days feel chaotic right now, if your toddler is loud and big and emotional, if your baby needs you constantly, ask yourself, where can I build one predictable, gentle ritual? And it might be colouring, it might be a song, it might be lighting a candle, it might be reading the same page every night, it might be taking a deep breath, smelling an essential oil. Start small, repeat it, model it, and let it grow. Chaos doesn't need to be eliminated. It needs to be met with something steady. And steady doesn't mean perfect. It means present. And in regards to kids being quiet, this can be a quiet activity. And I will do another podcast episode on setting up the space, but it doesn't have to be. I find often there'll be moments of quiet when we're working together, but it's such a beautiful opportunity for them to start opening up about their day. Yeah, hearing about what's going on for them and what their choices are, why they've chosen that page. It's a really great conversation starter. So when I created the Shine On Mindful Colouring book, it wasn't just a craft activity, it was an offering and a way to support families in creating moments of pause, moments of connection, moments of co-regulation. Not grand gestures, just small intentional practices. And those small practices, they compound. They build capacity, they build safety, and they're building emotional literacy. And eventually, they build calm. So let's close with one breath, inhaling, exhaling. So yeah, you don't need to eliminate the chaos. You just need one soft place to land inside. And if this episode resonated and you'd love to explore mindful rituals in your home, the Shine On Mindful Colouring book is available online on my website, www.shineon.com.au/shop. It's also available on Amazon and it's available in person at Pop Canberra in Canberra, ACT in Australia. And I'll link all that in the show notes as well. So until next time, breathe, laugh, and be present with your parenting. Bye. Thank you for joining me on Breathe, Laugh, Parent. If this episode brought you a moment of calm or connection, please share it with a fellow mama. Subscribe on your favourite platform or visit shineom.com.au/podcast for more. Until next time, keep breathing, laughing, and parenting with heart. The information shared on Breathe, Laugh, Parent, the Shine On podcast, is for general educational and inspirational purposes only. It is not medical, therapeutic, or professional advice and should not be relied on as such. Always consult a qualified health or parenting professional for support tailored to your individual needs. Shine On and its guests disclaim any liability for decisions made based on this content.